but unfortunately went straight on the run-up towards the Makaó hairpin. Well, I think we've seen the reason why. There was some slippery stuff down there. There's Tom Chilton. Tom, who's embracing life as being a dad now, and been a touring car driver. Do you know he's 29 years old, so he's nearly 30 years old, and he was, when he came into racing in the British Touring Car Championship, he was the youngest driver that we'd ever had.
I remember, yeah. And his brother hadn't been heard of.
No, that's absolutely, well, he was just coming into T cars back in the UK when Tom was getting on the podium for in British touring cars at the age of 17. And there we see the multiple champion Ivan Muller. What a lineup Citroën secured this year.
I know.
Incredibly impressive.
Doesn't get much better, does it?
It really doesn't, does it? 4 titles with Ivan Muller, plus his British Touring Car Championship title as well. Sebastian Loeb, 9 World Rally titles with the mark. And Jose Maria Lopez as well, having a superb year. Absolutely superb. Well, we're watching a man that knows how it's done around the streets of Makaó, Ivan Muller, and he's pushing on early as well.
Well, he was second quickest in this morning's practice with a 2:27.9. And, I think he's probably going to be out to improve on that. But they were out early this morning, and, of course, conditions quite different. But it hasn't really warmed up much. You'd expect as the day had gone on, it would have warmed up a bit. But
I've not been out, but is it not?
Yeah,
I've been here.
Yes, I've noticed.
But it doesn't look, and it also still looks a bit windy as well.
It's still 1973. You know that. I don't know what you did wrong.
No, I do.
Oh, okay.
Back with Muller, and making his way to complete the lap. TC1. You see the little TC1 next to the Citroën logo, indicating that's the car for this year. That's the title that's given to cars in the 2014 specification. TC2. Specification previous to this year.
Yeah, and how much more competitive are the TC1 versus the TC2 cars?
Yeah, TC1 cars have been all dominant at the front of the field, have they not? Ivan Muller, Seb Loeb just behind, and you know the interesting thing about Seb Loeb is he arrived at the ferry port to collect his bags at the same time that I did the other day, and I mean he's I know we overuse the phrase, and I've said that already today, but we overuse the word legend.
He's a legend.
But he absolutely is. I mean, consecutive titles year after year after year. I interviewed him at the final World Rally Championship round of the year, and every year he was as cool and as calm and collected as you could possibly hope that a racing driver or a rally driver could be, and a very, very normal chap. We were at baggage reclaim and exchanged pleasantries, and completely normal fellow, doing exactly what we were doing, waiting for our bags and wondering whether they were going to come through.
You know, but also, I mean, he's a legend. I mean, so he's doing touring cars. He's been doing it for a few years now, but he just jumps back into the World Rally, wins a couple. He
could do WRC. He could jump into a 24-hour race at Le Mans. Whatever he chooses to do, he is
racing champions.
Absolutely, he is incredibly good at it, and a really nice guy. Already.
Oh, and that's a big off too. He's banged from one side of the road to the other as well,
and has left the legacy of that etched on the circuit. And that's the number 7 Campos racing car of Hugo Valente,
yeah.
His Chevrolet RML Cruze.
Ooh. And that looks like some damage to the suspension as well.
Yeah, that's not great. I think Lopez has been in the pit lane, hasn't he? I'm not sure he's completing a lap.
Ooh, see, look, here he is, bounces off one. I knew that would be the case. I've seen that crash there many times.
Left a fair bit of debris on the circuit as well. So not only do we have a car that needs to be recovered, we've got a red flag. So not surprising. A car needs to be recovered, and this is a situation where the clock has stopped as well, which means they've got 22 minutes and 20 seconds of the session remaining, and it looks as if they're going to have that in completion when it restarts. Yep, just out of angle there, but you see it bounce across the road, and with a fully locked up tyre as well, to its place of rest. So recovery will need to take place. A little bit of debris will need to be swept away as well. Valente's Chevrolet Cruze still stricken roadside, and that's not a place that you can easily get a crane, is it?
No, that's going to be a push job, I'm afraid. Just looking at, where there's the driver. He's okay. A little bit miffed because that was driver error, I'm afraid. Pushing too early.
And if ever,
I say that, it could have been a mechanical, but it looked to me by the way he went into the wall that he was just too hot.
And if ever cold tyres are going to catch you out, this is a circuit where that's going to happen, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's just inevitable.
Especially in that section.
Yeah, yeah, very fair point.
So, a bit of chat's going on. Remember, this is free practice 1. They had a test this morning.
It's a difficult moment, isn't it, for a driver when something has happened also so early on in the session. We've not completed 8 minutes of the session, and naturally you will be looking forward as a driver to this meeting tremendously, and for it to have got underway in this way, not good news at all.
You should turn around and look at that marvellous gate he's leaning against.
Yeah, beautiful, isn't it? Yeah. Absolutely glorious. Gabriele Tarquini's car down there in pit lane.
This is Bontieros.
And
2:29.5 the quickest time, but we really haven't got going yet now. This is going to quicken things up, but this morning's fastest time was Michelit's was 2:27.7 in the Honda.
It was quite early this morning that they went out on the circuit, but I think I did take a little screenshot of the times from this morning, if I was smart enough to do that.
Yes, I did too, and here they are.
Thank you very much indeed.
Muller second, Lopez third, Mehdi Banani did good.
He did, yeah.
In fourth position, and Loeb fifth. Thiago Monteiro, who we just saw there. Aurelia, what did he get? Seventh overall.
Promised much at this meeting last year, and whether Pepe can have a good weekend this weekend, let's wait and see, but was very quick around Makaó last year. Citroën proudly telling the world champions for 2014.
Yeah, there's no mistaking that, is
there? No, and they've done it in dominant style, haven't they? Very, very impressive. We were talking about winners in the championship this year. Gabriele won last time out in Japan. Tom Chilton took a win as well. And although the lion's share of winning has been done by Citroën, wins have been shared around, which is always good news, and makes for a fascinating finale, because the Makaó circuit is a unique event for the World Touring Car Championship calendar, and it can throw up a whole host of interesting results, not just from the races but also from qualifying as well. So we wait with bated breath to get this session back underway. It's It's going to take a little while in order to do that. I think that recovery is going to take a little while up there, and everybody else, of course, will then have all the work to do once again to get the cars up to temperature. But for now, everybody remains down in pit lane.
So as you can see, World Touring cars back out on track now after that little break. Sojourn after we had a little bit of a prang, but we're okay. This will now be a shortened session in terms of their work anyway for this free practice for the FIA World Touring Car Championship. Jonathan Green and Alan Hyde bringing you the commentary as we look at Lopez at 37. Going through the very fast Mandarin. I remember the glory days of Emmanuel Pirot and the BMWs as they used to clip. They used to actually scrape speed off going through Mandarin by just clipping the left.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
And you might actually see some of that with these wider, you know, wheelbase cars
I
here.
think we'll see a lot more of that, yeah.
Yeah, but it's tricky business.
I think you're absolutely right. Oh, goodness. That's
Doesn't look healthy.
unexpected.
Mehdi Banani with work that he wasn't planning to do in the middle of a session for sure.
No, just putting the, I think they're putting the underside back on. So a fair amount of work has already been completed perhaps on that car during that brief interruption in the session. So I fancy they may well be quite relieved that we had that interruption. So they're able to complete whatever needed to be completed. Are they bolting together or unbolting? I think they're doing up. So maybe that's good news. Maybe that's allowed them to do some work that they otherwise would have had to do while the clock was still counting down, because it's back counting down now. However, they've got to get the cars back up to operating temperature now.
Yeah, it's going to take a lap or so.
It is, yeah.
Down towards Makaó. Now, we had some spillage here of some sort that's caused several tracks. You can see there was oil knocked down there, and that's where that dust and gravel, sand, whatever you want to call it, the combination of just returning the grip to the track where that spillage took place. Tarquini on a fast one. We're about to start a quick lap, I should say, as he heads out of Fisherman's. And there's two well-known faces here, Manet and Couto. Both, of course, racing in the GTs, but both of them have done Formula 3, and of course Couto has done World Touring Cars as well.
Well, it continues.
Tarquini's car.
Down, no.
Oh, no.
And the larders as well.
Ah, yeah.
So we've got the 14 larder in. And no, both Hondas are out. That's okay. So Tarquini and Montero. Looking at Gabrielli. Look at the car skipping around on those bumps as they go down into Lisboa. And when we had that problem last year, it was quite remarkable, the huge amount of experience that Gabriele Tarquini has in touring cars, not just World Touring Cars, British touring cars around the world. He was the only car, as he came up to a blocked circuit at the top of the hill, that did not even touch another one of the stricken cars at the top of the hill. He was able to park up very neatly, very tidily, come to a controlled stop and not touch anybody, which was very impressive. A mark of the man as well. The two Hondas working together and heading up through the second sector.
Flash like that with a camera usually means something's happened.
I think we both perked up, yeah.
Yeah, Mac coming through. Of course, we've got some Asian drivers in this series that are coming in effectively for this one-off in TC2. Mac being one of them.
Now we watch Tiago Montero making his way up towards the Makaó hairpin.
He always loves racing here.
And does it effectively as well. The Honda World Touring Car Championship operation that got underway just before Makaó in 2012, and they were a great addition to that race. And we stick with the Honda now. As number 18, Tiago Montero, fourth in the championship, 174 points going into this meeting. See the car skipping across those bumps as it completes a lap, and there's the number one car of Ivan Muller.
Mikulits hits the front again, 2:28.3. He was fastest this morning in testing, and he's done it again in free practice. Early on, though, still a long time to go yet, with 16 minutes still left on the board. The time starting to drop down quickly, and we're already into the 2:28s.
Back with Muller, Ivan Muller.
To be honest, 2:28.3, that's quicker than Van Muller's qualifying result from last year, Q2 from last year, so pretty impressive. And I know the qualifying is only a short space when they actually do it, but that's a quick lap on Mikulic.
Last year, of course, Ivan was in the independently run RML Chevrolet, and I would best describe it as a holding position, I think, for Ivan Muller to before Citroën, and following the end of Chevrolet's program in World Touring Cars. And what a great program that was as well. fielded many titles, and not only for Ivan Muller, Rob Huff as well, of course.
So still work going on.
Still
what do you reckon
working
is going on with Mehdi? Mehdi's still in the car.
He is.
So he's expecting to get out, so they don't think it's terminal. But this isn't a good start to your free practice at all. This puts you right behind the ball for the weekend. I'm on the back foot, I should say, because really you need practice. The key to a track like this, onto any street circuit, is time on track. And you can only improve the car. You can only see the conditions. You can only judge what's right and what's wrong. You can only make that click here, click there, to make the difference if you get some time on track. And if you're just sat in the pits with some niggling problem, you're just not going to qualify as well as you could, potentially.
Yeah, and we're looking at Ma King Hue and in his Citroen, and just ahead of him is the British driver we were just talking about, Rob Huff, and of course driving with Lada in 2014, and what a story that was in China when Rob took a win for Lada. As Rob, how the bumps really do test the suspension of the cars, running up towards the very, very quick part of the circuit. How quick they are as they head down towards Lisboa.
That's a funny line to be on, with the car behind him, not sure where he's coming from. Exit out of the pits, so not on a racing line, which is, just thought he might have had a problem, but he hadn't. I think he's just come out of the pits.
So, just joining in, and still 13 and a half minutes or thereabouts of the session in which to do so. Oriolo, who I expect to have a good weekend this weekend. Car number 74. It's still Mikulit's top of the times, 2:28.339. And of course the only thing is we don't know what the programme is for these cars and teams. They will be running through a programme of essential work in this, but you'll be absolutely certain that they'll be endeavouring to look up a good qualifying setup on the cars. And at last, Mehdi Banani's car is ready to go and is sent out for the pit lane. So that was good work by the team, because I think that was fairly extensive work that they had to perform on that car. And he's out on the circuit with 12 and a half minutes of the session remaining. So, so good news. Well done, team. Mikulits is still quickest.
Yeah, no real change at the top. I was keeping an eye on the times as they click through. Montiero's put in a good lap. Lopez is now up there in the top four. Coronel, Tom Coronel, another one of the stalwarts of Makaó. He's up there in 5th position in the pits at the moment. Muller and Mislic, who's leading the way at the moment. We're looking at Ma, the Citroen of Jinghua Ma of China. Nice and smoothly does it. No histrionics, no pushing the car too much as he passes our commentary position and heads down the main straight again, and building up to speed. And it really is flat out through this section, down towards the Mandarin. And that's one corner in motor racing I would love to try in anger. Here's Tom Coronel. Lopez goes quicker with a 2:27.8, and that's some 4/10 quicker, just under. Here we are on board, and this is the corner I was talking about. Through here, flat out. This is it, blind. Whoa, use all the exit. Just maybe touch the wall if you dare. But with Tom Coronel, his famous line is this: watch out for Lisboa, because the tyres, they will eat you. And here they are, Tom. Right there, that's the place.
Absolutely beautiful onboard shots. Well, just as we say that, we get a little bit of break up just on the run down towards San Francisco.
Well,
but
two bridges there.
We were just getting glorious shots, weren't we?
Yeah.
It really does give you a great idea of just how these walls and barriers suck you in. And also, look how hard they have to work. Look at all the work that's going on with the legs. It's a very, very physical lap, this. And incredibly physical as they make their way up through where we are now.
Well, it's not often I use the word aficionado, but this is definitely, this track, this man, Tom Coronel, the Dutchman, has been coming here for a decade at least, and he knows this track backwards.
And as you go up the hill, it's incredible in a touring car with their sun visors. You have very little visibility from the seating position in the car as you start to mount the hill. It's only a very narrow little gap in the windscreen that you have to see, just literally because of the angle as you start to mount that hill. So incredibly talented drivers attacking the Makaó circuit. None so talented as the one you're riding with at the moment, Tom Coronel.
It's quick through there, isn't it?
Incredibly quick, incredibly impressive around the hairpin.
Now watch the acceleration here. Blind entry here, and then another blind entry here. Opens up just slightly as they head towards Fisherman's through the gearbox, up to fourth gear now, back down to third. And this is the view from Tom Coronel as he heads down towards our bend to complete this lap. This is not going to be one of his quick ones, though.
Just very grateful for the opportunity to drive alongside him. He pulls off into the pit lane. Just over 9 minutes of the session remaining, and quite a treat to be on board with Tom Coronel during that lap of the Makaó circuit. I did exactly the same this morning when they showed a whole lap. I just watched the whole thing. It's almost like being involved in a very real PlayStation.
It is. I mean, I think what Makaó is again so famous for is it's like being in a video game.
It is, and it's great footage. Jimmy Thompson, James Thompson, double champion in the WTCC, and has been racing touring cars all over the world in various different series for many years, right the way back to the super touring era of the WTCC back in the 90s. Works driver with Honda way back when, drove with Vauxhall as well, and has done great jobs for many different manufacturers along the way.
Yeah, he's been around a while, hasn't he?
Certainly has, and great character is Tomo.
Yeah.
Behind a fellow Brit, Tom Chilton, as they line up to leave the pit lane. And I'll probably mention it quite a few times over the next 3.5, 4 days. But I thought that was an incredibly impressive effort by Rob Huff to take the maiden win for Lada.
Yeah.
2014,
and look how far they've come on as a manufacturer in the last 10 years.
Very impressive. That
no, if you know, it would have been a joke to say that Lada were going to compete on a world level a decade ago,
and they have absolutely done it. And proof in the pudding, signing good drivers and getting good people to build, prepare, and run the cars. Well, it all pays off, doesn't it? Yeah. Very impressive. On board this time with Ivan Muller. And
look at the footwork.
Well, you'll notice different type of footwork for Ivan to Tom Coronel. And I think it's fair to say that I think Ivan's will be possibly more flowing.
Yeah, a little smoother.
Yeah.
Now you can see when you get two abreast how tight it is to get past. I said, you know, that corner, the more I see it, it's tighter than it looks, this Fisherman's.
Yeah, it is tight and incredibly quick as well. And I wouldn't mind continuing to watch that. That's a great view, particularly around the Makaó circuit. Just watching Ivan gently, the whole thing becomes really quite artistic, doesn't it? Tarquini is top at the moment, and these times, of course, will not have any bearing on grids for races this weekend. However, it does give us a nice window into what potentially could happen during qualifying. but it's Tarquini in the Honda, car number 2. That's at the top of the times, 2:27.216 from Jose Maria Lopez with a 2:27.874. And once again, we see Ivan Muller is just coming up behind Tom Coronel, I think, and he looks to be pushing on this lap. Ivan Muller currently down in 6th place, car number 1, 2:28.929. The order: Tarquini, Lopez, Montero, Michelitz, Oriola and Banani.
Who's done well, actually. Medi's
really
done well,
well.
He was stuck in the pits, obviously. We've been talking about him, and for him to be in the top 6, albeit only free practice, is still impressive. And as I said, I was lamenting about time on track as traffic is getting in the way of the Citroën. Coronel trying to get out the way of the Citroën Ivan Muller, and does so eventually.
Does so possibly at the earliest opportunity that he was able to do so. Was that the arty shot?
That was the arty shot.
I think it was.
I thought I was seeing something. Enter the disco then.
It was the same for us as it was for you, everybody.
Yeah.
As Ivan Muller has been able to, as we saw, get past Tom Coronel and moves on his way. So too does Lopez down the pit lane for the Argentinian, and waiting to be released out on circuit for the remaining 4 minutes, just under 4 minutes. And Valente's car comes back, the final chapter in the walk of shame, if you like.
Yeah.
The car comes back, and
I mean, there's, you know, some good damage, but not irreparable for sure. I've seen a lot worse here. But his cardboard cutout's looking decidedly not as embarrassed as the real thing.
No, he's still very jolly, isn't he? The cardboard cutout.
Yeah.
And
they want to put him in the car. Maybe he'll do a good job.
They may well do. And of course, World Touring cars get a day off on Saturday.
I know. What's that all about?
Well, they've worked very hard on the Thursday and the Friday, so they
I think we
deserve
should
a
go and
day,
recruit some of them.
a day off.
I think Huff's on my list.
Okay, Huff would be good.
He'll Huff and Puff.
Yeah, we could try for a few more as well.
Yeah.
May well be something we can look forward to up here in the commentary box on Saturday, if indeed they even come into the circuit on
That's
Saturday.
half the problem. They all agree. They all agree to come, and then they don't bother. They're going to Singapore.
Yeah.
Don't blame them. So less than 3 minutes to go in this session. You're watching the Makaó Grand Prix. This is the World Touring Car Practice. First free practice. They've had a test this morning, early morning, but these are more attuned to the race conditions that they'll see. This is the kind of time and temperature, and we'll be waiting to see just exactly what the temperature is going to be on Sunday, because it's cooled down and chilled down quite a lot.
What a beautiful talent that is when you watch the every single part of man and machine all working together. It's difficult to work out exactly where you do want to watch. Do you want to watch the feet? Do you want to watch the steering, the correction of the steering wheel? Absolutely beautiful. Round goes Ivan. Down from the beautiful in-car shot to the on-board shot, and I have a feeling we might be seeing quite a few more of those in-car shots this weekend, because they've got some really very, very impressive shots. I think it's that much more impressive to have an in-car shot when you're on a circuit like this, when you've got the barriers and the walls so very, very inviting and close. You do get an idea of just how highly skilled these drivers are, and you're watching the best in the world. Ivan Muller, 4-time World Touring Car Champion, 1-time British Touring Car Champion, and Citroën, of course, the Citroën Total team, champions in 2014 as well. Less than 1 minute of this session remains, and Gabriele Tarquini in the Honda is top with a 2:27.216. It's going to be a close weekend. We've got 4 cars in the 27s, 2:27.216 for Tarquini, 2:27.823 for Montero, 2 Hondas at the top of the order at the moment. Lopez third, 2:27.874, and Mikulits 2:27.889. That's the top 4. Oriola and Loeb complete the top 6, and Banani, Muller the top 8, Huff and Mark the top 10. Coronel just outside the top 10, but they've always been inconspicuous in their impressiveness, the Hondas, in this session, but they are occupying the top 2 places, albeit it's only free practice. We've been looking at everybody else apart from the Hondas, really, but now we zone in once again on Thiago Montero, currently second.
Checker flag is out.
2:27.823 for Montero. Tarquini at 2:27.216, top of the pile. And is it going to stay that way, or are we going to see some improvements on this final opportunity? Montero, he's got Mikulits directly in front of him. Mikulits, who I saw doing an interview this morning, saying what great memories Makaó has for him, not least securing the Independence title a couple of years ago here.
I don't know how much the strength is kind of put into that title, or how much is taken away from it, but it's becoming more and more prestigious, and you know, a lot of guys have made their name winning that.
Yeah, they have. Yeah, they absolutely have. Pepe being one of them, and Franz Engsler,
yes, doing
a grand job this year. Very, very impressive in the Yokohama Drivers' Trophy this year.
Another former Asian champion.
And a hugely experienced driver as well, synonymous with BMW in recent years. So with the checkered flag out,
a bit of a moment there.
Yeah, and wasn't able to fully see the moment. It's being in slow motion, and it's Thiago Montero. What's the story going to be for the 33 Citroen this weekend? It's going to be an interesting one to watch, and I would have enjoyed a similar view from the inside of Sebastian Loeb's Citroen on just to see, to make the comparisons between the driving techniques, because I'm sure they're different. I'd quite like to see how they're different. That's the 9-time World Rally Champion. I never tire of saying that.
It's. I mean, I was looking at the record today. It's just phenomenal,
isn't it?
It is. And like you say, I remember being a bit giddy.
Yeah.
Talking of Loeb, when he first came here, because his first actual outing in a touring car was here at Makaó.
Yeah.
It's like, you know,
what a welcome, eh?
Thought you'd give you a run in our car. We've decided Makaó, and you can imagine him saying, "Makaó, okay." I mean, it's just like a stage for him.
You can imagine him saying, "Yeah, I've been through the Welsh forests in all sorts of weather, so I'll be fine. I'll be fine on tarmac. It'll be okay." There's Gabriele.
Yeah.
Tops the times.
Good guy.
What a star.
You know, the older he gets, the quicker he is.
He does, yeah. and he's a great guy as well. Back in the days of WTCC, when he was driving for his passionate Alfa Romeo, they were always the garage. As you walk past Gabriele's garage, he was always the one that smelt of freshly brewed coffee. Beautiful smell it was, and I missed Gabriele for many reasons when he left the WTCC, but the brew of coffee and the smile on the face was one of the great reasons.
Formula One as well, Tarquini.
Yeah.
And this man here.
Yeah, Gianni Morbidelli. And we've not mentioned Morbidelli, but he's there in his Chevrolet RML Cruise. TC1 spec, this year spec.
How competitive is the Cruise this year?
Around this circuit, I have a feeling it might be it might be quite impressive this weekend, I have a feeling. I think this circuit is almost a law unto itself, and it could throw up all sorts of interesting results. And already I think we've had one of those interesting results, because I perhaps would not have bet that Gabriele Tarquini in his Honda Civic and Tiago Monteiro in his Honda Civic would top the times, but that was exactly what happened. Don't worry, I'm sure Citroën have got everything under control.
Yeah.
We've got no idea what anyone was doing during that session.
Yeah, free practice is so hard to read, and as I've said earlier, you know, we talked about the F3 guys. You know, the same is true of the touring cars. There's no need to set the world on fire in free practice. Absolutely none.
No.
And in fact, actually gaining data and understanding the track, understanding the temperatures, understanding how the tyres work in those temperatures, understand the nuances of the track, because every year it's different.
This is a very good start here in Makaó. Very good out there, Tarquini. How is it for you driving?
Track was very dusty this morning of free practice 0, so I just scrubbed the disc, and I don't want to force. Now free practice 1, the track is a little bit better, but it's not the final track, because here the grip improved day by day, hour by hour, so it's stupid to set the car in this condition. It's better to wait tomorrow. I think the track will change a lot. Unfortunately, it's only the first day, but it seems that our car matched very good with the characteristic of this track.
Now, you are a seasoned professional here at Makaó. What is key to a good lap here?
You need a lot of luck, no traffic, and a fantastic car, I mean, as usual. But here in Makaó, it's quite a lottery, because you need a good toe for the first part of the track, because it's very, very fast, faster than Monza. And after, you have a very twisty part, but not very low on speed. So you need rhythm, you need change of direction, you need traction for the hairpin, and a good quantity of luck.
And balls of steel.
yeah, sure. Pedal to metal, especially the Mandarin corner.
Well, fingers crossed it'll be as good as it was in Suzuka. Thanks, Tarquini.
Thank you.
Now that was Gabriele Tarquini, fastest man out there, and I love the fact his comments on what you need to be quick at Makaó, and he said basically you need a good car, that speaks for itself, you need a bit of luck, yep, and time on track, but it's a lottery as he described it. But I did find it interesting that he considers, speed-wise, this track to be quicker than Monza.
That was a great quote, a really interesting quote as well from Gabriele, and he always does a very succinct interview. He always crams a lot of information.
Yeah. He's honest.
Yeah, he really is, and that was a very, albeit just a minute and a half interview with Gabriele. That was a very insightful. That Ivan Muller bringing information back to the team, and he's always immediate at doing that. Instant recall that Ivan's able to do. That's been part and parcel of the success of Ivan Muller's driving career. His feedback of data, absolutely supreme.